Hello, welcome. So we're going to learn Under the Bridge by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, a classic song. I absolutely love it, and it's a really memorable one. It's really catchy, that opening riff. So let me demonstrate to you now what I'm going to teach you in this lesson. Here goes. So obviously that's the main riff that opens the song. And after that, there's some chords for the verse and then chords for the chorus. So I'll show you that in a second. But let's begin on this bit. So this is quite a tricky chord to get the hang of if you haven't been playing guitar long, but I'm sure you'll be fine. And once you've got it, you'll be able to use it for any other song you want to play as well. So the little finger is on the 5th string at fret 5. The middle finger is on the 4th string at fret 6. The first finger is on the 3rd string at fret 2. Now at that point you might realise what a stretch it is. And the middle finger is on the 2nd string at fret 3. Now what I want you to do is to just test this chord and make sure you're playing it right. So pluck strings 5, 4, 3, 2. And you should be able to hear each one of those notes nice and clear. If you're not hearing each one of those notes, it's probably because the back of one of these fingers is accidentally touching one of the wrong strings. So what I'm going to ask you to do is make sure you're arching these fingers up so there's a little bit of space underneath so they're not accidentally touching the wrong string. Okay, so once you've got the hang of that, then we're good to go. So I'm using my plectrum, and I'm also going to use other fingers to pluck other strings. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to pluck the 5th string and the 2nd string at the same time. Okay, and then pluck string 4, 3, 4, and then strings 2, then 3. Okay, so the first note is the only one where we're playing 2 strings at once, like this. Okay, brilliant. Now we're going to do this to the 5th string at fret 4, off to fret 2, little finger on the 6th string at fret 5, and then finish up on fret 4 on the 6th string. Let me just play you those notes. Now please use the correct fingers because it's a good habit to get into and it'll make life easier for you in the long run. So let me demonstrate that now from the start. Okay, and then we're going to play another chord called an F sharp, and what that is a bar at fret 2. Now you already know about bar chords because I taught you that in the free 12-part course. So if you haven't already seen it, go and have a look at it because it's free and it's brilliant value. Okay, so we got the bar at fret 2 holding down all the strings, and then the middle finger's on the 3rd string, which is fret 3. And then these 2 fingers are on the 5th and the 4th string right next to each other. And you can look at the chord chart if you just want to check that. So when you're holding down with plenty of pressure, just check that the strings are sounding okay. Now, bar chords are quite an advanced thing, so I encourage you to work with it and practice it until you can get each one of those strings sounding crystal clear. Okay, good. So what you're going to do at this point is pluck 6, 5, 4, 5, and then the 3rd string, then the 4th string. So like this. Good. So from the start, it should sound like this. Brilliant. And then we're going to play the 4th string at fret 4, off to fret 2 on the 1st finger, little finger to the 5th string at fret 5, finish up on the 5th string at fret 2. Okay. And at which point you can go back into the original chord again. But instead of just playing the 2nd and 3rd string on the end of that one, what you're going to do is use your little finger to hammer on to fret 5 and pull off again. So just to make that clear, the middle finger stays where it is on the 2nd string. You're going to pluck it, and then the little finger is going to hammer on to fret 5 and pull off. Now you already know about hammers and pull-offs because again we learnt that in the free 12-part course. So when we join that together, it should be this. And then you're going to play the 3rd string, which is still at fret 2 in theory, and then the 4th string, which is still at fret 4, assuming you kept those notes in place. Good. Then put the little finger back where it was on the 5th string at fret 5 and give it a pluck and slide to fret 7. And you can put the 3rd finger on fret 6 and give it a little pluck. So what that sounds like is this. Okay, so let's join that together. And then at that point you can go into the F sharp chord again and play it the same as before. Okay, so there you go. Let me demonstrate that in slow motion from the start. Okay, well done. So it's time to learn the verse now. So we're going to work with a bar chord at fret 7. So the first finger is going across just 5 strings for this chord. We're not going to use the 6th string on this bar chord. This 3rd finger is going to do a mini bar. And what I mean by that is it's holding down the 4th, 3rd, 2nd string. It's also touching the 1st string, but we don't need the 1st string. So it's holding them down flat like a mini bar. So this finger really is holding just down the 5th string in this instance. So you're going to pluck strings 5, 4, 3, 2. Now I'm going to ask you to go to this, which is again a mini bar, but I'm using my 1st finger at fret 4 across strings 4, 3 and 2. And I'm just plucking those 3 strings. Now extend the bar so it's holding down the 5 strings, okay? Again, we're not using the 6th string for this chord. Now put your middle finger on the 2nd string at fret 5 and then these 2 fingers on strings 4 and 3, both at fret 6. And you can strum the 5 strings, not including the 6th string. And then extend your bar right the way across so it is holding down the 6th string now and put these 2 fingers on strings 5 and 4. And then move the bar up 1 fret, so it's now at fret 5, and the middle finger's on the 3rd string at fret 6, these 2 fingers on the 5th and 4th string. Good. So if we join all that together, we get this. And then what you can do is play it again, but don't play the one but last chord. So let me just demonstrate what I mean by that. Straight to the last chord. Okay, so let me demonstrate that. Good, and you can repeat that again whilst you're singing the verse, and then they finish on an E major 7 chord, which sounds like this. And what that is a bar at fret 7, the middle finger on the 3rd string at fret 8, the 3rd finger, listen carefully, on the 4th string at fret 9, and then the little fingers on the 2nd string at fret 9. Look at the chord chart if you want to check that. And with this one, we're just strumming 5 strings again. Okay, there we go. Repeat. And then E major 7. Okay, there we go. So that's the verse. Now we need to learn the chorus. And it's going to sound like this. Alright, a little bit fiddly, but I'm sure you'll be fine. So, bar at fret 9, middle finger on the 2nd string at fret 10, these 2 fingers on the 4th and 3rd string, both at fret 11, and we're strumming the 5 strings. This is a F sharp minor chord. And now move down to the E chord, which is the same as the first chord we used in the verse. So bar at fret 7, and then this finger mini bar across strings 4, 3 and 2 at fret 9. pluck that one twice. Now here's the tricky chord. This will be a new one. This is the only song I've ever seen this chord really used in. So it's the 4th string at fret 9, middle finger on the 3rd string at fret 11, 3rd finger on the 1st string at fret 11, little finger on the 2nd string at fret 12. Now, I realise that's quite a tough one. It's a little bit tricky to get your fingers around, but I encourage you just to work with it and you will get the hang of it. Just check the 4 strings and make sure they're sounding okay. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and again, make sure the fingers are arched up and not accidentally touching the incorrect string. For example, the back of the little finger, make sure it's not touching the 1st string. And you're going to strum down, up, using just those 4 strings. Then you're going to go back to the 1st chord, the F sharp minor chord, bar at 9, middle finger on the 2nd string, and then the 2 fingers on strings 4 and 3. 1, 2, 3. So if we play that through, it should sound like this. Okay, and again. Okay, there we go. And repeats that several times. And what eventually happens is he then goes back into the verse chords. And the whole cycle goes round again, the verse, and then the chorus again. And the song eventually ends with these chords. A, which you should already know because it was part of the free course. 4th string at fret 2, 3rd string at fret 2, 2nd string at fret 2. Strum the 5 strings. And then C, which is the 5th string at fret 3, middle finger on the 4th string at fret 2, and then the 1st finger on the 2nd string at fret 1. And again, I was just strumming 5 strings. Now a G chord, and the easiest way to do that is just to move those 2 fingers from the C up a string. So we've now got the 6th and 5th string. The little finger's on the 1st string at fret 3, and the 1st finger's not doing anything. That's all the strings on that one. And then finish up with an F chord, which is a bar at fret 1, across all the strings, middle finger on the 3rd string, these 2 fingers on the 5th and 4th string at fret 3, all the strings. So, A, C, G, F. And you can go a little bit crazy with the strumming. You can build it up as much as you want. For example, you might want to just try and play like this. Okay, I'm going to leave that up to you to experiment. Right, and then eventually, once you've played that 3 times round, you're going to finish on the F, and then play an E chord, which you should already know, 3rd string at fret 1, then these 2 fingers on the middle finger on the 5th string, 4th string at fret 2 as well. And then a G chord. I was actually strumming down, up on both of those chords. And then you can continue with the previous chords that we learned just a second ago, the A, the C, the G, the F. So let me demonstrate that whole thing to you, and you can get a feel for how it's played, and then you can practice that for yourself. And then you can finish on an A chord. So I'm not going to explain every last stroke, you know, down and up to you. I'm going to leave that. That's your responsibility to experiment with that and become used to strumming the guitar. So thanks for joining me. It's quite a tricky song, but it's really worth learning because it's such a cool one and it's really popular. So many people know it. And if you play with a band, it's a really good one that you're able to play with a drummer and a bass player as well. So thanks for joining me in the lesson. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that was useful. Go and and print out the PDF document so you got the notes next to you so you can practice it by reading the paper as well. Watch the video over and over again. Go and get on with it. Enjoy yourself. I'll see you again in another video guitar lesson. Take care. Bye.